Well, I want to thank you all for joining us tonight. I'm so grateful to have Mary Ellen Vandenbrink back after traveling abroad for many, many months. Because when I wanted to do this topic, healthy heart, having a holistic nutritionist on our side sometimes just simplifies things and makes it sound so much better. If I was introduced to this company over 34 years ago, I was working as a police officer in Toronto under a lot of stress. I was really tired and had PMS and digestive issues and allergies. And when I started taking some of these amazing products, the difference it made in my health was incredible. And not only did it help me and my mom, but I'm so happy to share this information with you tonight because my dad, who is a European and used to make his own red wine, also started to have some blood pressure issues. And you don't want, a European not being able to drink red wine. So we'll share a little bit about that as I go on, as we go on through the evening. But again, I want to thank you so much for joining us tonight. And I know the information that you hear is going to impact your life and probably some of the loved ones in your life as well. So Mary Ellen, thank you so much for joining us tonight. And I'm really looking forward to hearing what you have to share.
Yeah, thank you so much, Nada, and welcome everyone. I'm so excited. So many people are interested in heart health because, as you know, it affects so many families. I was introduced to Neolife 29 years ago, and I got involved because my son had a lot of respiratory issues. And I know I tried so many different products with no results. And one day we had dinner at a coworker of my husband's, and I couldn't believe how much better she was looking. Like, she used to be tired and sick all the time. And when I asked her what she was doing, she said, the only thing I'm doing different is taking these products from Neolife. And I said, well, what makes them different? She said, all I know is made from whole food and I'm not sick and tired anymore. And so I asked her for more information, got my son started, and we just want to clarify here, these products don't diagnose, treat, or cure any disease, but it's amazing what the body can do when it has the right support. And the healthy heart is very important to me. I grew up, my dad was only 39 when he had his first triple bypass. And, it affected his whole life. And, and he ended up having a second one later on. And, when you see what people struggle when they're going through heart disease, to know that there's so much you can do to help to prevent it. And that's what we're going to really focus on tonight. So what is heart disease? Well, as you know, it's the number one killer because it affects so many people. But the good news is 80% is preventable by lifestyle change. And what happens in heart disease is the blood supply to the heart is reduced or cut off. And so who's at risk for this? Well, there's a lot of lifestyle related factors. People who smoke are much higher risk. Lack of physical activity. Our heart is our largest muscle. It needs to be worked. Stress is very, very detrimental to the heart, and being overweight. And heart disease is preventable. So what are some of the nutrition related factors that affect us for the heart? Well, too much of the bad stuff, like those hydrogenated fats and industrialized fats. So be sure to read your labels because they do list if there's trans fats on the labels. Refined sugar is an oxidant, terrible, junk food, and not enough of the good stuff. And this is what we're going to talk a lot about tonight, like omega-3s and fiber and fruits and vegetables. And so what's some of the diet-related indicators of heart disease? Well, these are things sometimes you go to your doctor for testing, like your high triglycerides, elevated homocysteine. We're going to talk more about that later and explain what it is. High cholesterol, oxidative stress. That's when the cells start oxidizing, and being overweight or obese, because that puts a lot of stress on the heart. And when you look at the circulatory system, you think about it, every day your heart beats 100,000 times and pumps 2,000 gallons of blood through 60,000 miles of blood vessels. So you think how complex this whole system is. And we have 200 billion red blood cells synthesized in the bone marrow every single day, which is pretty amazing how powerful the body is. So what happens when we have that high cholesterol? Well, it can result in a disease you guys have heard of, atherosclerosis, and other vascular issues. And you can see the blood vessel there, the fatty wing where it closes up that blood vessel so that now the blood can't get through. And that's what causes the heart attack. And so let's look at how this all starts. Well, you see a normal, smooth muscle cell. So you maybe get a little bit of damage. And what causes this damage? Well, we talked about it, things like smoking, not exercising. So the body tries to protect itself. So it puts a little fatty streak on there. So as you see, but what happens? It starts to close it. Then all of a sudden it's trying to repair and repair more. And so it actually deposits fibers and fats until eventually you get a large piece of plaque that obstructs the artery. And you hear a lot of people say that, my artery was 75% blocked or 95% blocked. Well, this is what they're talking about when you have that obstruction in the artery. And when you talk about cholesterol, there's different components of it. There's the HDL, which is those high density lipoproteins. And the HDL is often referred to as the good cholesterol because it carries cholesterol from the tissues to the liver, and then it's removed out of the blood. So that's why it's good, because it helps get rid of cholesterol. And then you have the LDL, that's the low density lipoprotein. And that's often referred to as the bad cholesterol, although we do need some of it in the body. And it can form the plaque and block the arteries. So that's why it's a good idea to ask your doctor for the breakdown of your HDL and LDL. So what happens when you have these blocked arteries? Oftentimes you hear people get, like my dad, coronary bypass surgery, very, very invasive, open heart surgery, and balloon angioplasty. That's where they put a stent in, and you hear so many people end up with that. But the problem with all of this, right, is if you don't change your lifestyle, even if you get it corrected, it's going to happen again. So how do you detect high blood pressure and heart disease? Well, it's different in men and women, so there is differences, but often you get a pain in the chest that radiates to the shoulders or arms. It's usually on the left side or to the neck, back, or jaw, so you can feel it. Sometimes people have a pressure or burning sensation in the chest. They're thinking they have heartburn, which can be that. Shortness of breath, nausea, you can get dizzy or faint. Oftentimes indigestion that is not, cleared up with antacids. Fatigue and excessive sweating. You see people sweat a lot. That's a sign of heart disease. So a stroke is a little bit different. It's a interruption of blood flow to the brain, where a heart attack is interruption of blood flow to the heart. And what do strokes cause? Well, it can cause temporary or permanent paralysis and kidney damage. So there's 4 different kinds of strokes. 2 are caused by rupture and hemorrhage of the arteries, and 2 are caused by clots that block the blood flow. So there is different types. And what are some of the warning signs of stroke? If you get a sudden weakness or numbness of the face, arm, or leg on one side of the body, a sudden dimness or loss of vision, especially if it's in one eye. You see a lot of people will have a loss of speech, or it's very difficult to understand them when they're speaking or trouble talking. Severe sudden headache that comes like just out of the blue, or unexplained unsteadiness, dizziness, or sudden falls, especially with one of the other symptoms. So if you have any of these, go to call 911 right away. If you've got some aspirin, it's a good idea to take it to thin the blood if you feel you're having a stroke. So what are some of the stroke risk factors? Well, it does increase with age. Males are more prone to it, but it does affect females as well. Your race, diabetes, if you've had a stroke prior stroke, hereditary, sometimes it's common in families. And the asymptomatic carotid bruit, that's when you get the blockage in the neck. Because if you've got like a clot in there, then it makes you more susceptible to stroke. And stress. So many people have trouble coping with stress because we all have stress in our life, right? It's how we deal with it. Well, in 1981, type A behavior was officially recognized by medical experts as a heart disease risk factor. And it kind of makes sense, because what does the body do when you're under stress? It takes all the blood flow away from the intestines and your digestion, and it prioritizes so we can run away from the tiger. So how do we prevent hypertension and heart disease? Well, cutting the bad fats from your diet, like I talked about those trans fats, put away the salt shaker and avoid canned and processed foods. Make sure that your cholesterol is in the proper zone. Okay, so get it checked. Like it's a good idea to get your blood tested, and keep an eye on your blood test. If you see a change from one checkup to the other, definitely do something. No smoking or alcohol. Exercise regularly. Keep your blood sugar in the glycemic zone, and we're going to talk about how important balancing blood sugar is. Keep your stress in check. And supplements can help support and fill the gap of what we're not getting in our diet anymore. And when you look at what the World Health Organization is recommending, it's what Neolife has been saying for years to prevent heart disease, cardiovascular disease, and stroke. More fruits and vegetables, nuts and whole grains, omega-3 fatty acids from fish or plant sources, and maintain a healthy weight. So these are the three big keys. So Nada, would you like to share with us what the 3 keys to optimal health are?
Sure. And you know what, Mary Ellen, when you were finishing off that stress, I was just at Shelley's, and she had somebody come and do some deep breathing exercises that also helps to relieve stress and tension. And we did 2 different types, and I thought, wow, that's something that I completely forgot we should have added to this. But deep breathing exercise is also a fabulous way of just decompressing and managing your stress. But we do have to look at our diet, and the 3 keys to optimal health is weight management, your diet, and physical activity. If you're not active, get active. That's so important. And you do need to look at what you're eating and need to manage your weight. And water should definitely be your drink of choice. And also, I don't know if you saw this, but the Canadian Food Guide in 2019, they changed their guide where half of your plate should be your dark colored fruits and veggies, a little bit of whole grain, and a little bit of protein. So you are what you eat, and 75% of chronic diseases are preventable. And good nutrition can help lower many chronic diseases, including heart disease, stroke, some cancers, diabetes, and osteoporosis. But really, when you look at some of the studies that are out there, Mary Ellen, this is a recent study that was done in over 190 countries. And they found that it's what we aren't eating is actually killing us. It was a global study. So we need to look at this because we're not eating enough grains, fruit, nuts, and seeds, omega-3, and vegetables. We used to, 70 years ago, the wheat was ground fresh and bread was made daily, and the oils were still in the husk of the grain. Now what we do, our grains are no longer whole. They mill our grains because they need our foods and our breads to have a longer shelf life. All these essential nutrients are gone, and we're left with this white flour, protein, gluten, starch product. So not a lot of nutritional value. So there definitely is a need to supplement. But who do we trust, Mary Ellen? I know there's so many challenges out there when people are out there trying to find the best supplements for their family.
Yeah, that is so true, Nana. When I took my holistic nutrition course, there was so many products out there, and everybody said theirs was the best. But there is a criteria to that we're going to talk about of what you should look for in a supplement, because a lot of people think just because something is in a store, it's safe. I hear this all the time. But when they actually did studies, researchers found, and they did this from 2007 to 2016, they looked at over 776 products marketed as so-called dietary supplements. And what did they find? Hidden active ingredients that were unsafe or unstudied. So you have to really trust. And one of the biggest counterfeit products out there, nutritional supplements, is fish oil. Because everybody knows omega-3s have so many benefits. So you have to really make sure that you're getting a good quality fish oil, because people are creating fake fish oils, which is really, really scary. So when I looked at Neolife, I felt so comfortable giving it to my children, to my family, because just the fact that it had been around since 1958, was in over 50 countries around the world. And, they meet or exceed all the health standards in all of those countries. They have a pharmaceutical license, they have a respected research team, and the whole philosophy is based in nature, based in whole foods, because that's what our body needs, but backed by really good evidence-based science. And when people ask me, well, what should you look for? I say, just because it says natural on the label, you can see there's a lot of things that are considered natural, anything from the ground, like petroleum or pine bark or coal tar, but that's not part of our human diet. What we need is to fill, like what you were talking about, Nada, that study that was done in Lancet. What we're missing is whole grains, fruits and vegetables, and wild salmon, and that's what Neolife makes their products from. And they're all GMO free. And the founder of our Neolife Scientific Advisor Board was Dr. Arthur First, and he set up world-renowned scientists, nutrition experts, and all of these, scientists have been published and are well known in the scientific industry, and they're involved in the research and development of the products. They're not just a good-looking doctor who endorses the products, and all of the products are published in good, solid science, peer-reviewed scientific journals. So they're tested to make sure that they work. They don't just say, yeah, yes, raspberries are good for you. There's studies on raspberries. The actual product is tested and published in these journals. And Nada, would you like to share how we could fill this gap with our amazing Pro Vitality?
Sure. So when we talked about the fruits and vegetables and the grain oils and the fish and out of that Lancet study, the reason why I love this pack, it kind of has all those nutrients that we're just not getting enough of in our diet and that's lacking in our diet. So this is a product that just helps to fill that nutritional gap, and it's called Pro Vitality. It has those grain oils. This is something that I was introduced to 34 years ago, and it really helped me with my energy. I felt better hormonally, hormonal balance. And these are the essential fatty acids. They're called lipids and sterols. But guess what? Less gluten than a bowl of gluten-free cereal. Developed for a hospital research study, and it was proven to help with cellular energy and efficiency, getting your cells working properly. And why is this important for the heart? Our whole body is made of trillions of cells. So we got to make sure that our cells are functioning properly. And this is the foundation, is getting these grain oils back in our diet, which are no longer in our food. We're now third and fourth generation not having these good fats in our diet anymore. So how does Trianan work? It surrounds every single cell in your body, trillions of cells, and it keeps the cell membrane soft and permeable so nutrients can go in and waste can go out. So if you're not getting these grain oils in your diet, you have like the cell on the left. The cell's kind of sticky and hard. You want to make sure your cells are like the cells on the right, permeable and soft. Texas A&M University. Remember when Mary Ellen said that our products have been published and proven? Our Trianan was proven to increase nutrient utilization efficiency by 50% more. So your cells will absorb 50% more of the nutrients from your food, from your diet. And then there's our fruits and veggies. You know, we should be eating about 9 to 13 servings of dark colored fruits and vegetables every single day. This one carotenoid that's in this pack is equivalent to consuming antioxidants from 80 pounds of raw fruits and vegetables in every box. And it was proven to boost your immune system 37% in just 20 days. And it was published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition. It was patented. And it's made from tomatoes and carrots and spinach and apricots and peaches. So when you look at this, it's all made from whole food, all those dark colored fruits and veggies that we're not getting enough of. And we're going to talk about the importance of heart disease when it comes to these antioxidants as well. Because we have over 10,000 free radical hits every single day. This is oxidative damage, oxidative stress. And when the cell is unprotected, this oxidative damage happens, and this is where plaque can form. And this is really important that you protect your cells from free radical damage, because it's the enemy that speeds up aging in our cells. So protecting your cells with antioxidants and the carotenoids, just a fantastic way to fill that gap in our diet. And let's talk omega-3, because omega-3 fish oils is so important, because inflammation is definitely the secret killer. It's going on inside our body, and there is a link to inflammation and heart disease. Our salmon oil, our omega-3s, has all 8 omega-3, tested for 200 contaminants with an allowance of 0. And it's made from pure Atlantic cold pressed fish. And it was clinically proven to reduce inflammation 68% in just 8 weeks. This is an incredible product. So also cardioprotective, reduced triglycerides by 17%. This is really important. And also the Royal College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists, they featured our salmonol as being safe for pregnant moms because there's so many fish oils out there. Right on the label, it says don't take it if you're pregnant, whereas this is completely safe for mom and for baby. This was really important for me because I took these products before pregnancy and during pregnancy, and my kids take these products. When you're looking at high triglycerides, this is a primary indicator of elevated risk of cardiovascular disease. It's a reflection of a diet too high in fat, which could be a family trait in some households. So you really got to look at your diet. You got to look at, what you're putting into your body. And, I like to call some of these foods sometimes foods. I'm not saying never to have them, but boy, if you're consuming these foods every single day, it can increase your cholesterol, which is really, really damaging. And this can be a huge, this could lead to heart disease. And high triglycerides, when you reduce the intake of bad fats and increase the intake of good omega-3s, like our omega-3 fish oil, this provides a perfect balance of omega-3. It optimizes the omega-3 to omega-6 balance, so that ratio, and helps to lower triglycerides and again, improves the inflammatory index. And then there's a multivitamin. So you're getting more than a multivitamin in this amazing pack. You're getting the fish oil, the carotenoid, the trionine, and a multivitamin on this convenient pack called Pro Vitality, again, to fill the gaps as to what's missing in your diet. And then Mary Ellen, we can't forget about our kids.
I know this is such a passion with me because I feel that, if we start our kids healthy at a young age, it gives them such a better chance. And especially one of the studies that was done on the trionine that was published in Texas A&M University actually proved that you'd get better growth and development and cardiovascular development as you grow. So you think with our kids, putting those like either in the Liquivite or the VitaSquares, those lipids and sterols that are not in any other supplement out there. So this is so key. Like I know my granddaughters, when they were babies, were on Liquivite, and when they got a little older, they switched over to the VitaSquares and VitaGuard, which are yummy chewables, and they're not those horrible gummies with all the coloring and everything. And then the salmon oil to reduce the inflammation. It feeds their brain. It's so, so important. And it's a wonderful program for children. And when we talk about breakfast, like the Neolife Shake and the Pro Vitality are a perfect breakfast for the whole family. I know my kids have been having this and my grandkids since they could, drink out of a sippy cup. It's just amazing. And it comes in 3 delicious flavors: vanilla, you can see chocolate, berry. But what's inside, which I love, is the fact it's all natural and it's biologically complete with all 22 amino acids, because we need all of the amino acids. They do different functions in the body. And it's really important to know what the protein quality score is of the product. This is like 1.73, which means that your body actually absorbs this protein. There's a lot of protein shakes out there that are not absorbed. There's 18 grams of protein per serving, which is a really great amount of protein to get first thing in the morning. Branched chain amino acids, 5 grams of fiber, controls your blood sugar, vitamins and minerals, and antioxidants. So it's a complete meal replacement. But what I love too is the fact of what's not inside. There's no artificial anything. And there's 2 of my granddaughters when they're younger, and you can see they enjoy their shake every morning. And I feel so comfortable knowing they can take this product safely because it has no trans fats. It's GMO free. It's no preservatives, no high fructose corn syrup. I see a lot of shakes out there with artificial sweeteners and a lot of things you do not want to be taking, especially given to your kids or yourself for that matter. And this shows how it controls your blood sugar. Because if you get up in the morning, and what do most people eat, right? They have, a bagel, coffee, maybe toast. So then your blood sugar goes in where that red zone is. See where it spikes up, and then the body, says danger, danger, starts secreting insulin. You go way down too low, and all day you're on what they call the glycemic roller coaster. Well, where you want to be is where that blue level is, and this is what the shake does. So it's great for weight loss, diabetics. It prevents fat storage, it helps to burn fat, and you have so much energy. It's actually part of our energy program as well, because if you're tired, you're not going to exercise or even want to go to the trouble of eating right. It's so, so important to have energy. And with the Neo Life Shake, we always say if you want to shrink, or especially, I know, especially a lot of people as you get older, you seem to store, get that belly fat. And even people struggling with their weight, where they just can't lose weight no matter what they do. This is a key to success, because you have to have high protein in order to lose weight. So what I love about this is a lifestyle change. When you're aggressively losing weight, you can replace your 2 meals a day with 2 Neo Life Shakes, but you're still eating 5 times a day. So you can have your shake in the morning, you can have a healthy snack. So there's an example. We give you a list of something like strawberries and almonds or yogurt and berries. Then for lunch, you can have another Neo Life Shake. You can have another yummy, healthy snack and a balanced dinner. So this is something you could do with your family. And then once you get to your key weight, then you, like a lot of people will just have the shake in the morning, or if you do a lot of fitness, they might just have the second shake after working out. And what I like is it's clinically proven to deliver results. So it's not just us saying, yes, you'll lose weight. It actually in studies was proven, and these were published in the American College of Nutrition. And it was proven for weight loss, 10% body fat reduction on average, lower BMI, cardioprotective, 15, which is we're talking about tonight, which is so important, heart, and 15% reduction in that LDL cholesterol and improving the HDL to LDL. So it's also really good for your heart. And when you're overweight, it does, as I talked about earlier, increase heart disease. So it's so, so important to get your weight in control. And even, if you start slowly, any weight loss is beneficial. So why do some of us have this issue? Well, you look at what we call this portion distortion. Look at the difference in size of our food from 20 years ago. Like, look at that poor little teeny donut. It was only 140 calories and 3 inches. Well, now the average donut is 350 calories and 6 inches. So you think you're getting another 210 calories just from one treat. And look at the difference between the French fries and the fast food meals. Like, everything. So portion size is very, very important. So, keep an eye on what we're doing, because everything, like I know when I was down in the US, I couldn't believe how huge the meals were when we go for dinner. Like one dinner could feed 3 people sometimes, right? So what is the health impact of being overweight and obese? Well, body weight is directly associated with the increased heart risk factors, the ones we talked about. As your body mass index, BMI, increases, so does your blood pressure, your LDL, your bad cholesterol, your triglycerides, your blood sugar, and inflammation. Because the more body fat you have, the more inflammation. And all of this translates into increased risk for coronary heart disease. But the good news is, like I mentioned, even 5 to 10% of a reduction of body weight can lower your blood pressure, because I hear so many people saying, I started losing weight, my blood pressure's come down, my LDL cholesterol's come down, my triglycerides, and it improves other cardiovascular risk factors as well. So it plays a huge, huge role. And this is one of my customers, Gabby. She was introduced from her sister, and she went on our weight management program because she had a really important goal. Her husband was only 40 years old, passed away from complications from diabetes, and left her with 3 small children. So she wanted to get her life in order, and she lost 34 pounds in 2016 between August and November. But the amazing thing is, look at her today. She's kept it off because this is a lifestyle change. So she's showing her kids that this is the way we should eat and exercise and carry on life, which is so important. And this is Carlos. He also is suffering from diabetes and, heart issues. And he lost 251 pounds in 26 months, and he's kept it off. And when I asked him, I said, Carlos, a lot of people who lose a lot of weight, they have to get surgery, because the saggy muscles. He says, this program burned the fat, but it protected my muscle. I never needed surgery. So, so important. So when you look at heart health, we talk kind of about the basics because that's so important, but we're going to focus in on a couple key products that really complement the program. So a very important factor is low CoQ10. And you're starting to hear more of that, in articles and magazines. And the reason for that is if it's low, your muscle function is lower. And what's your heart? Your biggest muscle. Your energy is lower, and it increases your disease risk of all the diseases, including heart disease. So Neolife came out with this incredible, the first all whole food CoQ10 product that supports heart health and cellular energy. And so it's a key. So if you want to do the basics and add the CoQ10, that's a fabulous thing. And why would we need CoQ10? Well, many medications cause loss of CoQ10 in the body. So you think things like statins, if your CoQ10 levels get low, it affects your heart. So it can cause heart disease. So here's how it works with the statins. So you take the statin, I'm not going to go into all the biochemical, but as you can see, it breaks the pathway. So as it reduces cholesterol, it also reduces the CoQ10. And that's why it's so important to supplement CoQ10 depleted by statin drugs. And as we get older, our levels decline with age. So you can see, look at how high it was when you're 20, and then look when you're 80, it's almost non-existent. Even 40, it's so low. So it's so important. And we're also not getting a lot of CoQ10 in our diet. And it's not just the foods here, it's missing in many foods now, the way they're grown. And the Neolife solution, it's naturally sourced, and it also has that mitogenic phytolipid and sterol blend. So you're getting more lipids and sterols in this product as well. As polyphenols, you hear a lot about those very important antioxidants that protect the heart. L-cysteine, which is for glutathione production, which is very important, so your body can produce it naturally, and it is absorbed because you want something your body can use. And as you can see, once you supplement with the Neolife CoQ10, it puts you back in that level, like when you're 20 years old again.
And that's what we want.
Yeah. And
Thanks,
now you want to share Dean's story?
Yeah, I was so grateful that Dean reached out to me. We worked together as police officers many years ago, and he's retired now, and he's been one of my best customers for probably about 30 years. And when he reached out to me, I was so grateful because anyway, I'll read what he shared because this is really a powerful story. I had been taking CoQ10 for a few years for a heart condition I was diagnosed with 13 years ago by a cardiologist in Toronto, a condition called paroxysmal tachycardia. The medication I was given had side effects that were not nice. I felt like I was having a heart attack. I stopped the medication under the guidance of a naturopathic doctor and started taking 100 mgm of coenzyme Q10 twice a day, along with curcumin for inflammation. It worked better than the pharmaceutical drug, as the rapid increase in pulse rate disappeared with no side effects. I still was not 100%. Neolife's coenzyme Q10, as soon as it was launched, I tried 2 bottles of it for 2 months, replacing the same 100 mgm twice a day in conjunction with the curcumin. Worked even better. No palpitations, no more rapid pulse rates at all. Now I'll be using it exclusively as it works fantastic for my condition. And we've been hearing a lot of that where, Neolife didn't have a CoQ10 for over 30 years. I remember talking to John Miller, our scientific advisory board member, and he says, Nada, we're working on one. We've been working on one for over 30 years, and we're trying to make it a natural source because a lot of CoQ10s out there are not natural. So when this hit the market for Neolife, we were so grateful because so many people have been asking. And I know, Mary Ellen, you as a nutritionist, this is something you saw as well.
Yes,
and
it's so important.
And what about homocysteine? We hear this.
Yeah, homocysteine is something you can actually ask your doctor for a blood test, because 60% of people who die from heart disease have the risk factors, but the other 40% don't. And it's interesting because, the normal ones are the ones we talked about, the high blood pressure, the cholesterol, but the 40% that didn't have these risk factors also had high homocysteine levels. And I know, like with my dad, he didn't have high blood pressure, didn't have high cholesterol, he wasn't overweight, and yet he still had heart disease. So he probably fell into this bracket. And homocysteine, they say, is an even better marker than actual other, like cholesterol and everything else. So Neolife came out with their lipotropic adjunct. And what it does, it fills the gap of those nutrients that are missing, the B6, the B12, and the folic acid. Because if you don't have those, it causes your homocysteine levels to rise in the body and you start depositing in the arteries. It also has lipotropic factors, which means that they're fat hunting factors like choline and inositol, and that keeps the lipids emulsified in the bloodstream. And so this is a complete supply of homocysteine lowering nutrients and lipotropic factors, and it's great for circulation. Like I know people even with Raynaud's disease, like when their hands, they can't circulate. So that's why it's such a big role player in our heart program. And Leonie, would you like to share your story?
Absolutely, Mary Ellen. Well, thank you for asking me to share. And I just wanted to say that before I'm here to actually share my heart health story. And before I start, I just wanted to say that 15 years ago, I met Nada and we were volunteering at our church youth ministry. And our family had a lot of health issues. And it is through Neolife that has, improved our health so much. And I can't begin to say how blessed we are in that our health for the whole family has improved dramatically. So here we go with my heart health story. In the summer of 2020, I experienced chest pains and I went for a stress test. And although the results were normal, I continued having chest pains. And so my cardiologist, what she did was she scheduled an angiogram to see if I had any blockages, like you were talking about, Mary Ellen. And she said that during the procedure, if there was a blockage, that she would insert a stent. And needless to say, I wasn't too happy to hear that because I didn't like anything foreign in my body. So to prepare for the procedure, I was started on the Neolife 30-day heart program. And that's where Nada says, okay, this is what you got to do. And I started on that and I went for the procedure. And immediately after the procedure, the surgeon said to me, you have a heart of a teenager and there are no blockages. And I just couldn't believe it because I was ecstatic. And needless to say, I'm in my mid 60s. And at this point, you would expect that there would be some blockages, that I would have had. And I can say that I am grateful that Neolife has kept my heart young. So thank you for letting me share the story.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that, Leonie. And isn't that wonderful, and that heart program you did is so powerful. It's just wonderful. And again, that's something that if you feel that you're at risk, I kind of think of it as a heart cleanse, it kind of cleanses everything out. And so when we talk about high cholesterol, Nada, would you like to share one of your favorite products, the all natural fiber?
It's a challenge to get enough fiber in our diet every single day. And I just find that this product, our all natural fiber, it just really helps to fill that gap. And I use it in my baking and my cooking. I love it in my protein shake. It just adds all the natural benefits to keep your heart healthy as well, especially when it comes to cholesterol. So just another way, if you're not a big fiber person and you're finding that, you might have a low fiber diet, this is another great product to add. It has all 5 forms of fiber, soluble and insoluble, the cellulose, hemicellulose, and all the 12 natural sources, 7 to 8 grams per serving. And again, it's all natural. And it tastes really nice. I know there's some fibers out there that are kind of gritty and people say, oh, I hate doing my fiber, but this is actually really pleasant. And it's very light and airy and fluffy, very much like baby powder. So just a great product to add to your protein shakes. It also helps to promote gastrointestinal health, promotes regularity, blood sugar, and weight by promoting satiety, because it does kind of fill you up a little bit more so you're not as hungry. And that's the power of fiber as well. Now, garlic is something, sorry, I'd like to talk about because this is the product that my dad, when I shared with you about his blood pressure, so he has been making his homemade red wine forever. And when the doctor told him that he had to go on blood pressure medication and he couldn't drink his red wine anymore, all he said to me was, Nada, fix me up. And that's when I said to Dad, I said, Dad, you got to get on the products and be more consistent, but we got to add the garlic. Because the garlic does help with hypertension, helps with blood vessels. It helps just with opening up the capillaries. I just say that our garlic, fantastic for blood pressure and also for cholesterol. So it decreases your risk of cholesterol as well. Cardioprotective. It has all the garlic allium vegetables. So your leeks, your onions, your chives. So it's not just garlic. And it does have the allicin. Because I know there's some garlics out there, they say, oh, they remove the allicin to remove the odor. Well, that's something you need. You need the allicin in the garlic. You cannot have a garlic without it. But ours is almost odorless. You can smell it a little bit, but when you take it, you don't get that constant repeat of garlic. So just a wonderful product. Helps with hypertension, which causes from stress, enzyme imbalances, again, defects in sodium metabolism, nutritional deficiencies, and arteriosclerosis. And some of the symptoms of hypertension are swishing around the inner ears, heat on the back of the neck, and headaches. So these are things you should be more aware of and in tune of your body to make sure that you don't have any of these symptoms. And then there's vitamin E, Mary Ellen. I know that is something that is really important. This is something my dad added as well. And it's fabulous for circulation, blood flow, and our vitamin E. I have to say that I haven't found a vitamin E like ours on the market today. And it's hard to get enough vitamin E in your diet. When you shared this chart with me as to how much food you need to eat just to get the RDA, which is 30 IU, impossible, right? 2.5 pounds of spinach and 8.5 pounds of broccoli. It's crazy. 10 pounds of bacon. Who eats that, right? And that's just for 30 international units. And they're saying we need anywhere from 100 to 400 international units of vitamin E every single day. So it's a challenge. So vitamin E is something that I think is an important nutrient to supplement with as well. So Marilyn, what about magnesium? That also plays a really big role in heart health.
Yeah, magnesium plays a huge role, especially people who have irregular heartbeats and things, because when you look at the symptoms of low magnesium, the first area is neurological. So that's like, your nerves, irritability, fatigue, anxiety, cognitive function. Then there's the muscular, where you get, like a lot of people get leg cramps. Like I had one client, and at night, when she went to bed, she'd wake up in the middle of the night with terrible cramps in her legs. And as soon as she started taking the Neolife magnesium, it went away. Cardiovascular, that irregular rapid heartbeat. I remember Dr. Liz Applegate sharing that she had irregular heartbeat and her doctor recommended magnesium. And there's a great book that backs that up. Skeletal and metabolic. So there's so many functions. So where do we get magnesium in our diet? Dark leafy, green leafy veggies, nuts, whole grains, fish, legumes, fruits. Like all those healthy foods that we're telling you need to be eating every single day. But the problem is the levels of magnesium in the diet are decreasing, not just because of poor food choices, but refined diets and how they're growing the foods. And also the absorption is declining. Up to 60 to 70% of food-based magnesium isn't absorbed anymore. And part of that is because of the lifestyle factors that we do that interfere with it: medication, alcohol, other things like that, fast food. And the levels of magnesium in the food are just decreasing because of the crops. So Neolife produced this amazing magnesium complex that's all whole food with the Tri-Make and Phyto-Make complex. As you can see, it's got broccoli and beets, like certified kosher. And it has so many benefits. So it's got the magnesium is double amino acid chelating. chelated, and that was developed by Dr. Arthur First. So you absorb the minerals so much higher when they're chelated. And there's also magnesium citrate, which is organically bound, and magnesium oxide from a natural earth form. So the three different sources. So you get, so it's just like food. You don't just have one, like you don't just eat one food. You need multiple sources of things. And that's how this product works. And then nitric oxide, it's one of the most important molecules in human health. And yes, you can see it affects so many systems, but number one, cardiovascular, it definitely affects that for sure. And as we get older, like everything else, we produce less nitric oxide. So what happens when you have low nitric oxide? Well, you can get a lot of those risk factors for heart disease, hypertension, arterial sclerosis, erectile dysfunction, depression, anxiety, diabetes, Alzheimer's, like so many health issues from low nitric oxide. And now, did you want to play? This is from Dr. Beck. This is just a great little explanation.
Hi, I'm Dr. Susan Beck, Chief Science Officer and SAB member for Neolife. I'm going to give you a 5-minute overview on one of the most powerful products in the marketplace. Our bodies naturally produce nitric oxide, which is a molecule that's foundational to the proper functioning of almost all systems in our body. Nitric oxide is critical for heart health, for immune health, and for the proper functioning of our nervous system. It's essential for respiratory health and reproductive health. More specifically, nitric oxide relaxes blood vessels, which increases blood flow. It has antioxidant and anti-inflammatory effects. It has antiviral and antibacterial effects. It's vital for muscle force, power, and strength. It's an important factor in cognitive function, including learning and memory. It's also critically important for healthy aging. Nitric oxide is so important that some scientists refer to it as the miracle molecule. As I mentioned earlier, our bodies naturally produce nitric oxide. But here's the thing, our ability to produce nitric oxide decreases significantly with age. It decreases anywhere from 50 to 85% as we get older, or about a 10% loss per decade of life. If we have low levels of this miracle molecule, then our health suffers. Low levels of nitric oxide have been associated with a wide variety of diseases, including hypertension, atherosclerosis, erectile dysfunction, depression and anxiety, obesity, macular degeneration, type 2 diabetes, and Alzheimer's disease. So if we can't rely on our bodies to make a consistent supply of nitric oxide as we age, then how do we increase nitric oxide? It turns out that green leafy vegetables and beets are the biggest and most important sources of something called dietary nitrates. Our bodies convert dietary nitrates from vegetables into nitric oxide through the digestive process. Digestion begins in the mouth with friendly bacteria, which start the process of converting dietary nitrates into nitric oxide. About 75% of dietary nitrates are absorbed in the gut, and the remaining 25% are taken up from the blood and stored in the salivary glands. So the healthy bacteria in our mouths play a critical role in the absorption and storage of nitric oxide. In a recent study of over 50,000 people, scientists found that consuming at least 60 milligrams a day of dietary nitrates leads to reduced risk of different types of cardiovascular diseases, including ischemic heart disease, heart failure, stroke, and peripheral artery disease. Now, the USDA and World Health Organization both recommend that we should eat 5 servings of fruits and vegetables a day. But almost 100 studies from around the world have shown that we actually need 10 servings of fruits and vegetables per day to stay healthy. Studies consistently show that most of us are not getting 5 servings of fruits and vegetables a day, let alone 10. So the bottom line is that people are not eating enough green leafy vegetables and beets that they need to replenish their bodily stores of nitric oxide. So with all of this in mind, the SAB and product team created a powerful product that boosts nitric oxide. Upbeet is a great tasting drink mix in stick packs. It provides 70 milligrams of dietary nitrates per serving. It contains a nitric oxide activation blend, which is made up of beets, kale, and Joseph's coat. Joseph's coat is a vegetable that's so colorful it reminded people of the coat of many colors in the Bible, and that's why they named it Joseph's coat. Joseph's coat is also known as red spinach. It's not a true red spinach, but they look very similar, so that's why people refer to it as red spinach. All three of these vegetables have been studied for their ability to increase nitric oxide in the body by providing substantial amounts of dietary nitrates. Upbeet also contains our clinically studied nitric oxide fitness blend, which is made up of moringa leaves, pomegranate peel, and black ginger root. The combination of the activation blend and the clinically studied fitness blend means that Upbeet boosts nitric oxide levels and supports cardiovascular health. Plus, our fitness blend was found in clinical trials to increase stamina and endurance and improve energy and fitness. Upbeet is GMO-free, stimulant-free, plant-based with no added sugar, only 10 calories, it's vegan. It's an easy, convenient delivery system. Just one stick pack a day mixed in water or juice or your Neolife shake is all you need to feel the benefits. Upbeet is the only natural beet-based product that works via two different pathways to increase nitric oxide production. The first pathway is through the 70 milligrams of dietary nitrates. These dietary nitrates are converted to nitric oxide. The second pathway is through the fitness blend because it kickstarts the body's own natural ability to produce nitric oxide. The clinically studied fitness blend is fast-acting. One dose of Upbeet increases nitrate levels in the blood by 336% in just 1 hour. Plus, this increase in nitric oxide remains elevated for up to 12 hours. Think about it. One dose of Upbeet works within 1 hour, and the effects will last all day. Also, be prepared for Upbeet to help you work out longer and harder. A clinical trial showed an 18% increase in the group taking the fitness blend compared to the placebo group. This means that the group treated with the fitness blend were able to work out longer without getting tired. We've heard lots of stories from people taking Upbeet who say it helps them bicycle longer or run longer or even adjust to altitude better when hiking or flying in a plane. One important note is that dietary nitrates are converted to nitric oxide starting in the mouth with friendly bacteria. Upbeet's drink mix delivery system ensures that the dietary nitrates in Upbeet will be converted to nitric oxide, unlike dietary nitrates in pill form. If we take dietary nitrates in pill form, then it bypasses the critical first step with our oral bacteria, which is necessary for nitric oxide conversion, absorption, and storage for later use. One caution, antibacterial mouthwash kills off these friendly bacteria, so please make sure you don't use antibacterial mouthwash because this will inhibit your ability to convert dietary nitrates into nitric oxide from the vegetables that you eat. So to summarize, Neolife's Upbeet is for stamina, endurance, and circulation. It's the only natural beet-based product to work via two pathways to increase nitric oxide production. It supports cardiovascular health, reduces fatigue, and increases stamina, improves physical performance, supports a healthy inflammatory response, promotes a healthy immune response, acts as an antioxidant, and supports cognitive function. When you're educating other people on the benefits of Upbeet, you can explain to them these 4 important points. First, the activation blend provides 70 milligrams of dietary nitrates, which are converted to nitric oxide. Second, the fitness blend jumpstarts the body's production of nitric oxide. Third, the fitness blend makes the nitric oxide the body produces more bioavailable. And fourth, there's clinical evidence showing that we will feel the benefits of Upbeet's fitness blend within an hour, and the effects last for up to 12 hours. Thank you for listening today, and I hope you all enjoy the great benefits of
So as Dr. Beck explained so well there, the dietary nitrates and heart health connection is huge. And in one study, they found 60 milligrams of dietary nitrates from vegetables led to decrease in cardiovascular disease, including heart failure, heart disease, stroke, and peripheral artery disease. So huge. So it plays such a big role, and it tastes great. And as she mentioned, it's 70 milligrams in each one of those little sticks, and it has all the different sources and the fitness blends. So it's a super powerful product. So Nada, would you like to kind of summarize, because we talked about a lot of products tonight, not saying you need all these products, but just to kind of, clarify for people.
Absolutely. So, when you're looking at the Neolife solution and the foundation, we always talk about the breakfast solution, which is the vitality pack with the protein shakes. And then Upbeet would definitely be the one thing I would add an extra salmon oil if there is kind of cholesterol issues, if you're not a big fish eater, with CoQ10. So that would be like the top 4 areas, I guess, is what we would kind of look at. And then if you have blood pressure issues and you've got, other things going on, then you might need to look at adding some of these other products. But I always say start with the basics, keep it simple, and see what it does. And here it is, our breakfast solution. Now, Mary Ellen, sorry, you talked about our Proven 33, our weight loss, and the obesity and the role that plays on heart disease. And our Proven 33 is just that. It's a 33-day system to kick off your weight loss. You do start with a 3-day detox, which is absolutely amazing, and it's easy to do. And then it goes into our weight loss system that Marilyn talked about with the mini meals and the 2 protein shakes a day. So this system here is a fantastic way to kick off your weight loss, especially that 3-day detox, because it just kind of resets that gut-brain signaling, and you feel absolutely fantastic. No more cravings. And these are the health solutions. You have your Vitality Pack, your breakfast solution, or your weight loss solution. And the breakfast solution is one of our best sellers. And you know what? There is another option. If you're someone really enjoys helping others, this is where I was. I just got so excited to share these products with my family and my friends. And I saw this as a way to generate income part-time and eventually leave my police career. I wanted to impact people's lives, and I wanted to have more time freedom. So if you are someone like that really likes helping people, and you're looking for either a plan B, having a side gig, or building something for your future, just ask the person who invited you, and we can give you a better understanding on how the income opportunity works. But if you just want to try the products, it's very simple to become a member. As soon as you become a Neolife Club member, it unlocks a discount of 10 to 20% on every order. No gimmicks, no requirements, just savings. And you can even earn your products for free and even get your shipping back. And then the promoter level, where you can generate income. Where can you start a business in Canada for as little as $98 or $75 in the US? And that unlocks a 25% savings on every order, full access to the compensation plan. And you know what? You're in business for yourself, but not by yourself. We work together as a team. So if you want to become a promoter, stay healthy and active, and learn how to share good health with the people you love most, belong to a passionate community, making the world a happier, healthier and happier place. Enjoy the time freedom of being your own boss. That was something that I really wanted. Deciding where, when, and how you work so that you have the time freedom to be active or train. Earn extra $200 to $500 a month, $1,000, $5,000, or $10,000 plus per month. It really is up to you. And again, we're here to help and support you every step of the way. So you decide. You just want to try the products, become a member, get them at a discount, get them for free. We can help you do that. If you're curious about the income opportunity, just ask us. If you want to learn more, we do regular talks like this every week. We change up the topics so you can learn about all the Neolife products have to offer to help to support your body and your mind. So we will be stopping the recording and opening up to any questions that you may have. So again, I want to thank you so much for joining us tonight. And Mary Ellen, thank you so much for your expertise. And Leonie, your story was so powerful. I just want to thank you all for joining us this evening.